I'm just going to do like a part 2 for tablature here. If you have the series in book 1, I've got I got a page that kind of shows some things on notation. And please note that the book that I'm holding right now has a spiral binding, and this is a very first run that I ever did on these books. You cannot get spiral binding through Amazon. I'm just giving you an FYI, they just don't offer it. If they do offer it, I'll be the first one to make these books available in spiral binding, because it's great just to be able to lay these books out flat. But you just can't do that right now with the way Amazon has their printing capacity set up. So let's just take a look at this. Something that you'll see in tab is an X sometimes, or you may see it say PM, which means for palm muting. It just means that you're muting with your palm back here. So you might see PM over the tab, and that means that they want you to well, as opposed to that's not palm muting, that's just allowing the strings ring out open. Palm muting deadens the strings. You have to have your hand back here so you get some resonance. That's palm muting. Another one is a bend. You'll see an arrow that goes like this, and you may see 1/2 or 1/4. And let's say that you want to play just a quarter that was just a little bit of a bend. If I did a half, or if I did a full, they're talking about a half step or a whole step and how much you want to bend. Now, if you know the song, which you would need to know if you're going to play with tablature, I mean, you got to know how the song goes. But if you're just practicing it to start out with, an easy thing to do for your ear is to play where you want that bend to hit and go back to the spot where they tell you to bend, and then get it up to that note, because you have a target note after you've played it like that. There's also a bend and release. So if I went, and so you'll see an arrow that goes like this, and then you'll see another arrow that goes like this. And that's a bend and release. You may even see a pre-bend, PB, which means you're bending before, and then you're bringing it down, all right? Another one is a hammer-on. I talked about this briefly in the other one. And then another one is a pull-off, okay? I think of a pull-off like a pluck-off. In other words, I'm not just gonna lift. I could do that if I want it to be subtle, if I want it to be more pronounced. So I'm doing a pull-off, hammer-on pull-off. Another is a slide up, where you'd see a marker like this, and that, or you see a marker like this, and that's a slide down. Whenever you're doing slides, you want to have your hand heavy enough on the neck, but not so heavy that you can't get smoothly to the next spot. So you don't want your hand to do this. I mean, that's just overkill. You want your hand light enough, but heavy enough to flow through those frets, so you're not fighting the frets. Hear how that works? And that really, I'm just gonna say those are some of the basic things that you're gonna spot when you're starting to do tabs. Another thing, just as a side note, you might see something that says like 3, 2, 1, 1. Well, they're telling you to arpeggiate a chord. You might see 7, 5, or 7, 6, 5, 5. Well, you're not, when you're reading tabs, you're not going to do this. You're doing a chord is basically what they're saying, and you're doing an arpeggio. So you want to get your shape down and then flow through it, if that's what is asking in the song, and makes it just more fluid for you to be able to execute that. So that's just a side note, is about looking at tablature going, well, what do they really want me to do, right? And the other way that you would know that is you've got to know the song and you know how that section of that song goes. So the tablature is just laying it out for you specifically where to play it. Again, you got to know the song if you use tablature. All right, so there's just a short little video on some of the different techniques, different symbols and things that you'll see when using tablature. And again, this is just a beginning list. This is not in huge, great detail. We're just getting the basics out there if you're just starting out. Thanks for watching this video. Again, I'm Phil Olson. To purchase the Awesome Guitar Series, click on the link below. It'll take you to Amazon. You can see full descriptions of each one of the volumes. After you've made your purchase and you receive them, go home and practice.